Hello and welcome. Or should I say something else? But I know you're used to the whole hello thing. Well, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Edisbrown, Edisbrown. And if you're making it down here for the first time, I say very big welcome. But if it's not your first time, I know it's the first time in a long time. But you're still welcome all the same. And do all to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you get to be the first to know of when I'm going to post any other video, because we are going to be having fun together, just you, the camera, and myself. That is how it's going to be. So today it is going to be about late Professor J.P. Clark, one amazing writer from Africa, from Nigeria, one of Nigeria's finest. It is a sad one. So today's video is basically dedicated to him as a tribute. He passed on last week, and if you want to find out what I'll be talking about, do stick around till I make my way into the studio. Okay, I did mention to you that I will be talking about J.P. Clark, and shortly I'm going to be reading his biography. I said reading his biography, J.P. Clark. The full name is John Pepper Clark. Now, John Pepper Clark was born in Kiagbodo, Nigeria, on April 6, 1935, to an Ijaw father and an Honorable mother. Clark lived his early life and had his early education at the Native Authority Schools, Okrika, in Borutu local government area, then Western Ijaw, and the prestigious government college, Ughelli, and his Bachelor of Arts degree in English at the University of Ibadan, where he edited various magazines, including The Beacon and The Horn. Upon his graduation in the year 1960, he worked as an information officer in the Ministry of Information, Western region of Nigeria, as features editor of the Daily Express and a research fellow at the Institute of African Studies, University of Ibadan. He served several years as a professor of English at the University of Lagos, a position from which he retired in 1980. While at the University of Lagos, he was the co-editor of the literary magazine Black Earth. You really need to check out that magazine. It was one of a kind back then. In 1982, along with his wife Ebun Odutola, a professor and former director of the Center for Cultural Studies at the University of Lagos, he founded the PEC Repertory Theatre in Lagos. Now, as a widely travelled man, Clark held visiting professorial appointments at several institutions of higher learning, including Yale and Wesleyan University in the United States. His death was announced last week in a statement signed by C.C. Clark for the family and Mr. Elaye for the children, which was made available to journalists on Tuesday. The statement was published, or it revealed that he died in the early hours of Tuesday, and it read: the Clark Fuludu family of Kiagbodo Town, Delta State, wishes to announce that the Emeritus Professor of Literature and renowned writer John Pepper Clark has finally dropped his pen in the early hours of today, Tuesday, 13 October 2020. Now, most of his notable works are out there. The one that really triggers me, or the one that really gets to me, is his poem Ibadan. Definitely, if you haven't read that poem, you should give me a very big shout out. You should know I'm quite older than you, because that poem is one poem that lots of old persons really admire, lots of persons who love literature really love, and things like that. So the poem Ibadan, I think I'm going to be reading that poem to you right about now. Okay, here is Ibadan by J.P. Clark, one poem that has stood the test of time, one poem that is going on and on. Ibadan by J.P. Clark. Ibadan. Ronin splash of rust and gold flung and scattered among 7 hills like broken china in the sun. I know you've heard that poem, and you maybe did not know that it is from J.P. Clark. John Pepper Clark was one amazing person. I really love that poem pretty short but very concise. It describes Ibadan in just few sentences. So what can you say about your town? Are you from Nigeria? Are you from South Africa? Are you from Uyo? Wherever it is you're from, what can you say about that? Definitely, I love him for all of his works, and he had written lots of stuff. He had worked on lots of stuff, and some of his works are really amazing. Did I say some of his works? All of his works are really amazing, and you need to check them out. So if you want to check out some of the works of J.P. Clark rather. Now we had Poems that was published in 1961. That was a group of 40 lyrics that treat heterogeneous themes. There was no specific theme in that particular one. Now we had A Reed in the Tide that was published by Longmans in 1965. Occasional poems that focus on the Clark's indigenous African background and his travel experience in America and other places. He also had Casualties, poems from 1966 to 1968, published by the USA Africana Publishing Corporation in 1970, which illustrates the horrendous event of the Nigeria Biafra War. Now this other one is A Decade of Tongues, I meant to say, that's published by Longman's Drumbeat series in 1981, a collection of 74 poems, of which, apart from Epilogue to Casualties dedicated to Michael Ekoro, were previously published in earlier volumes. Now State of the Union was published in 1981, which highlights Clark's apprehension concerning the socio-political events in Nigeria as a developing nation. And the last but one on this list is Mandela and Other Poems, published in 1988, which deals with the perennial problem of aging and death. And now finally he fell a prey to that problem, aging and death. Definitely, I know wherever he is, he's going to be granted rest. He is a man that lives on in the hearts of persons who are lovers of literature, who are lovers of drama, who are lovers of poetry, prose, and whatever work he's concerned with. He is an amazing literary icon, and it's very notable that due to the way he writes his work, or the way he wrote his works, some of the critics were not so friendly or so quiet about that. But JP was one amazing man, one man that lots of persons really looked up to and are still looking up to, even in his demise, or even as he's gone right now. Lots of persons are looking up to the works that he has left for inspiration, for motivation to write their own works or to do whatever it is they want to do. Now as one of Africa's preeminent and distinguished authors, he continued to play an active role in the literary affairs, a role for which he increasingly gained international recognition. In 1991, he received the Nigerian National Order of Merit Award for Literary Excellence and sole publication by Howard University of his two definitive volumes, the Ozidi Saga and the Collected Plays and Poems, that is in 1958 to 1988. Now on December 6, 2011, to honor the life and career of Professor John Pepper Clark, a celebration was held at Lagos Motorboat Club, Awolowo Road, Ikoyi, for the publication of J.P. Clark, A Voyage, the definitive biography of the main animating force of African poetry, written by playwright Femi Osofisan. Now the launch was attended by what could be described as the who is who in the literary community, including the Nobel laureate Wole Soyinka. In 2015, the Society of Young Nigerian Writers, under the leadership of Wole Adedoyin, founded the J.P. Clark Literary Society, aimed at promoting and reading all of Clark's works. Every writer has this particular element you sense in almost all of his writers, almost all of his poems. J.P. Clark had lots of things that got to repeat themselves in most of his poems. Now, throughout his works, certain themes were seen often. Violence and protest, that's one of the themes, as in the Casualties. If you read the Casualties, you'll see that he spoke of violence and protest. Now, institutional corruption That was also another theme, as in the State of the Union. If you've read that poem, the beauty of nature and landscape, that is one thing he really admires. If you've read Ibadan, you know he's talking about nature and landscape. And also a Read in the Tide, that work also talks about nature and landscape. European colonialism, that was also another theme he worked with. An example there is Eve's Bee in the poems collection. Now the last but one theme that also had to repeat itself is inhumanity of the human race, as in Mandela and other poems. If you've read that book, if you've read that anthology, you will know that he was talking about inhumanity of the human race. So there's several things that get to repeat themselves in most of the poems, most of the write-ups, most of the works of some writers, and those were the things that he was noted for. Yeah, seriously, I am super so excited that you had as much fun as I did right there in the studio. It was an amazing time, wasn't it? Yeah, we learned a whole lot about late Professor J.P. Clark. That was a very sad news we received last week for us in the Literary Society, for you out there. And I thank you very much for hooking up with me today. Don't worry, other editions of my videos right here on this channel will be more exciting and more fun. I know you really love fun and not the sad news, but do want to hook up with me on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever it is, even on WhatsApp. But I am EDISBROWN_. And if you haven't subscribed to this YouTube channel, just do all to click on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. See you when you get to see me. It could be now, it could be sometime later.